Hello
Hi,
there.
Molly.
So we're going to start, of course, with this tragic story that's unfolding in South Korea, of course, with that sinking ferry.
That's right. It's still dominating the international press. It's on the front page of the International New York Times today, a photo of some of the relatives of those passengers that are still missing. Now, thanks to the accounts of survivors, a picture is starting to emerge about what happened on board the Sewol when it sank, and it's a very grim picture. You can see the title there. It says that ferry survivors tell of turn and then chaos, because one thing that's very unclear is why so many of the passengers were unable to escape, because it took nearly 2.5 hours for the ship to capsize. But according to this article, passengers were told to stay inside their cabins because it was too dangerous to go outside.
And Flo, of course, the captain of the ship is coming under a lot of heat. He was reportedly among the first then to leave the ship.
That's right. That's according to an article in Chosun Ilbo, the leading conservative daily in South Korea. You can see the title there. It says that the ferry captain, so his name is Lee Jun-suk, he fled the sinking ship. He told his crew to tell the passengers to remain in their cabins, boarded a lifeboat, and left the scene of the accident. And actually, when he was rescued by the Coast Guards, the passengers were still being told to stay in their cabins. Now, on top of that, it's emerged that he wasn't even at the helm of the ship when the accident occurred. A lot of South Korean media are saying it was the third officer who was in command of the ship when the accident took place. So as you can imagine, a lot of the South Korean press is outraged. This is the editorial of the Korean Times. You can see the title there, Speechless and Shameful. It says that far more people could have been saved if the captain and the crew had acted more calmly and responsibly.
Of course, yeah, that tragic incident is still unfolding as search efforts are underway. But let's switch gears and talk politics a bit. And yesterday, of course, in Algeria, the presidential election was held.
That's right. Even before the results came in, the rival to President Abdelaziz Bouteflika, Ali Benfis, he said he would not recognize the election results. He said they were rigged. Now, this you can read about in El Watan. A lot of other media have been critical of the 77-year-old president for even running in the first place because of his bad health. This is a cartoon in Liberté by Dilem. You can see Bouteflika there in a hospital bed with the IV drip says 5 more years. And the title says, Le changement, c'est maintenant. That was François Hollande's campaign slogan in the 2012 election campaign here in France. It seems like it's used ironically in this case. Now, Le Figaro takes a look at what was happening here in France because there's a huge Algerian diaspora here. Well, it says there wasn't a lot of enthusiasm here in France. Now, there was a polling station open in Saint-Denis in the north of Paris for Algerian citizens to vote. This article says a lot of them decided to go to the cafe instead because they didn't feel like their vote would count.
All right, let's stay here in France, where a lot of papers, they're continuing to react to the new Prime Minister Manuel Valls and his 50 billion euro saving budget.
That's right. The Prime Minister is facing resistance within the Socialist Party. You can read it on the front page of Les Echos, the business daily today. They're talking about a rebellion that's spreading within the Socialist majority in Parliament. Many Socialist MPs are upset with this savings plan. They say it's too harsh, it's too belt-tightening, and in fact, many of them are demanding an amendment to the plan. You can read about it in Le Figaro. 11 Socialist MPs have written a letter to the Prime Minister asking him to limit the cuts in public spending to 35 billion euros, so quite a big change. They say the saving plan is too much, and this is a cartoon in Le Monde that shows this. You can see a socialist there, hands tied behind his back, being force-fed austerity measures, etc., and then comes along this new Manuel Valls plan the socialists simply can't swallow anymore.
All right, well, finally, Flo, of course, the death of Colombian author and just literary giant Gabriel Garcia Marquez, that, of course, is making headlines around the world.
That's right. There's an outpour of emotion in the Colombian press. First of all, let's take a look at El Colombiano. Now, it's important to note, he was affectionately known to friends and family as Gabo. So you can see here they talk about Gracias, Gabo. So thank you, Gabo. He was a national hero in Colombia, of course, but South America as well. He encouraged freedom movements. El Tiempo Info says that he is immortal, so immortal. International papers as well, they're also paying tribute to him today. Now, he was known for many of his novels, including 100 Years of Solitude. Libération talks about how it's eternal solitude now for Garcia Marquez. And The Independent, they talk about how a literary giant is dead. They say the supreme storyteller managed to, via the magic of his art, to alter the shape of his country's reality and that of South America.
All right, Flo, thank you very much for a look at the international press right here on Live from Paris. Well, now we continue with a look at the day's sports news, and we start with the latest results of the Bundesliga.
In the Bundesliga, Hanover are all but safe from relegation after winning at Eintracht Frankfurt on Thursday. Leon Andreasen put them ahead with just 2 minutes on the clock. The hosts hit back through Martin Lanek 10 minutes later, but the 96ers back in front on the 20-minute mark. Lars Stindl finding the net for the second consecutive week. Didier Yarkonen then put Hanover 3-1 up in the 29th minute, and despite a second half struck from Alex Meyer, held on for a 3-2 win that leaves both teams 8 points clear of the relegation places. Standard Liège have high expectations of an 11th Belgian title this year, but have been wobbling in the playoffs with just 1 win in their last 4 matches. And they had to sweat to get anything out of their home